ವೀಕ್ಷಕರೇ, ಸಂಗಮ್ ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿ ಇದೊಂದು ಶೈಕ್ಷಣಿಕ ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದು ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ, ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರಿಗೆ, ಪೋಷಕರಿಗೆ ಹಾಗೂ ಸ್ಪರ್ಧಾತ್ಮಕ ಪರೀಕ್ಷೆಗೆ ಸಿದ್ಧತೆ ನಡೆಸುತ್ತಿರುವ ಅಭ್ಯರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಭಾಷೆ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಆಸಕ್ತಿ ಹೊಂದಿರುವ ಎಲ್ಲ ವಯಸ್ಸಿನವರಿಗೂ ಅನುಕೂಲವಾಗುವಂತೆ ಉಚಿತವಾಗಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಹೇಳಿಕೊಡುವ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನವಿದು. ಯಾವುದೇ ಹಣ ಫೀಸ್ನ ಅಪೇಕ್ಷೆ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಸರಳವಾಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಅರ್ಥವಾಗುವಂತೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಕಲಿಸುವ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ನಮ್ಮದು. ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಹಕಾರ ಅತ್ಯಮೂಲ್ಯ. ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ನೀವು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿರುವುದು ಇಷ್ಟೇ: ನಮ್ಮ ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಚಾನಲನ್ನು ಲೈಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಸಬ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹಾಗೂ ಬೆಲ್ ಐಕಾನ್ ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಇದಿಷ್ಟು ನೀವು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿರುವ ಸಹಾಯ. ಹಾಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಚಾನಲ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರೊಂದಿಗೆ ಹಂಚಿಕೊಂಡು ನಮ್ಮ ಈ ಒಂದು ಪುಟ್ಟ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನಕ್ಕೆ ಸಹಕಾರ ನೀಡಿ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬೆಂಬಲಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಸದಾ ಚಿರಋಣಿಗಳು.
ಆತ್ಮೀಯ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕ ಮಿತ್ರರೇ, ಪೋಷಕರೇ, ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳೇ ಹಾಗೂ ವೀಕ್ಷಕರೇ, ನಾವು ಮುಂದಿನ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಸ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಮುಂದಿನ ಒಂದು 2-3 ಪ್ಯಾರಾಗ್ರಾಫ್ಸು. ಅದಕ್ಕೂ ಮೊದಲು ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಯೂಶ್ವಲ್ ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ನೋ ದ ವರ್ಬ್ಸ್ ಅಪಿಯರ್ ಇನ್ ದೋಸ್ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಗ್ರಾಫ್ಸ್. ಆದರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ವರ್ಬ್ಸನ್ನು ಬರೆದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾವ ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾವೆ ಅವು ಬರೆಯೋಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಫೈಂಡ್ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಅದು ಅಪಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು ಹಿಂದಿನ ಲೆಸನಲ್ಲಿ. ನಾನು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು, ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಎಲ್ಲ ವರ್ಬ್ಸ್ ಬರೆಯೋ ಅಗತ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಬೈ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿಯರ್ ವಿತ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ವರ್ಬ್ಸ್ ಅಪಿಯರ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್. ಇಷ್ಟು ಮಾತ್ರ ಹೊಸದು. ಫ್ಲೋ, ಹರಿಯೋದು. ವಾಟರ್ ಫ್ಲೋಸ್ ಡೌನ್ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್. ಪಾಸ್ಟ್ ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಫ್ಲೋಡ್, ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲೇಬೇಕು ಒಬ್ಬಿನ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಸು, ಮೀನಿಂಗು ಅದು. ಪ್ರೇ, ಪ್ರೈಡ್, ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥಿಸುವುದು. ಲಿಫ್ಟೆಡ್, ಎತ್ತದಿಂಗೆ. ಸರ್ಚ್ಡ್, ಹುಡುಕುವುದು. ಕ್ರಾಸ್ಡ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ 2 ವಿಷಯ. ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನೌನ್ ಕೂಡ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ರಾಸ್, ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ರಾಸ್, 7th ಕ್ರಾಸ್, ತಿರುವು ಅಂತ. ಹಾಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ದಾಟುವುದು ಅಂತ. ಐ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ಡ್ ದ ರೋಡ್. ಐ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ಡ್ ದ ರೋಡ್. An old lady, an old woman, an old man was crossing the road. ದಾಟುತ್ತಿರುವುದು ಅಂದರೆ ದಾಟುವುದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅರ್ಥ. ಇದು ಒಬ್ಬಿದು. ಇಂಪ್ಲೋರ್ಡ್, ಬೆಗ್ ಅಂತ. ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್, ಬರೀ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಬೆಗ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಸಾರ್, ಬೆಗ್ಡ್. ಅರೈವ್ಡ್, ರೀಚ್, ತಲುಪುವುದು. ಹೆಡೆಡ್. ನೋಡಿ, ಹೆಡ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ತಲೆ. ಅದು ನೌನು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಡ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಆ ದಿಕ್ಕಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಗುವುದು, ಮೂವಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ದಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್. ಇದು ಒಬ್ಬಿದು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ನೀವು ಮುಂದೆ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಟಿವ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ಇದು ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಯೂಸ್ ದ ಫಾಲೋಯಿಂಗ್ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಓನ್ ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ವರ್ಬ್ಸ್. Use the following sentences in your own sentences as verbs. ಇದು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಇದು ಕಷ್ಟವಾಗಿರೋ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನೀವು ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಹೆಂಗಾಗೋಯ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಹೆಡ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ತಪ್ಪು ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟವ್ರೆ, ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಪೇಪರೇ ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಸುಳ್ಳು. ಸರಿಯಾಗಿರ್ತದೆ, ನಾವು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಷ್ಟೆ. ಬೋಲ್ಡ್, ಇದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಬೋಲ್ಡ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನೌನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಬೋರ್ಡ್, ಐ ಸಾ ದ ಬೋರ್ಡ್, ಫಲಕ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಟ್ರೈನನ್ನು ಹತ್ತುವುದು, ಬಸ್ಸನ್ನು ಹತ್ತುವುದು. ನೋಡಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಇದು ಒಬ್ಬಾಗಿದೆ, ಒಬ್ಬಿದು. ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಅಂದಾಗ ನೌನ್ ಅದು. ಇದು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಯೂಸ್ ದ ಫಾಲೋಯಿಂಗ್ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಓನ್ ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ವರ್ಬ್ಸ್ ಅಂದಾಗ ಏನು ಬರೀಬೇಕು? ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೋರ್ಡಿಡ್. ಪಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಡೀಪಾಗಿ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡೋದು. Now I read the paragraphs 6, 7, 8 and 9. Listen with attention. Baleshwar was so far away from Roma, he couldn't see her. I hope I am not too late. That was his confidence. He thought, gasping for breath, After running for several minutes, he found her sprawled. By the side of the tracks. Behanji, he didn't know English. Behanji, aap theek hai? He asked, but there was no response. She didn't talk, and no help in sight. They were all alone. Somewhere between two stations, 5 kilometers apart in Thane district, which borders Mumbai. The incident took place in Thane district. Baleshwar could see blood flowing out of a cut behind the young lady's or young woman's head. Saying a silent prayer, a prayed God, he lifted the 5 foot in 2 inches 50 kg weight Roma gingerly, with much difficulty, and made his way across the tracks, looking out for trains and searching for a way out. He crossed through the shrubbery. He crossed through some shrubs, ginti, and followed the direction of the sound until he found the road. He was beside the road. He was at the roadside. He was asking people, "Sir, my sister is injured. He begged motorists who drove by, "Please help me, sir. Please help me. Take her to a hospital." But no one stopped. This is one thing. ಇನ್ನು ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಬರೋ 2 ಪ್ಯಾರಾಗ್ರಾಫ್ಸು ಅವರಿಬ್ಬರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸ್. ಏನು? Roma Talreza. That morning on December the 10th, 2010, a Friday, Roma Talreza arrives at the call center bright and early. Bright and early means very early, not late. Very bright and early means very early. It's an idiom. She was a BCom graduate from Pune and had been working there for 2 years, loving a job, talking and connecting to customers, and making new friends there. After work on that day means 10th December. After work on that day, she went to the canteen, where she and her friends had joked, laughed, and made plans for the weekend, because it was Friday, next 2 days holidays. Then heading means going towards, heading home alone after her shift, Roma was looking forward to having supper with her parents, nice meal, nice food with parents and brother, and a long phone chat with her fiancé Vijay. She was going to marry him. This was the story of Roma Talreza. What about Baleshwar? Baleshwar Mishra has a different story. The lanky youngster, very tall and lean, thin, not fat. Lanky youngster from Mirzapur, Uttar Pradesh, is an unemployed high school dropout. Keep it in mind. He was not uneducated. He was not a graduate. He was almost uneducated. An unemployed high school dropout who had recently come to Mumbai. He was not familiar to Mumbai. Living with his 2 older brothers. His job hunt, he was searching for jobs, had proved fruitless. His search for jobs in vain. Now he was treading water. Treading water means it is an idiom. It is an idiom. Failed to make success. Failed to make progress. Treading water means failed to make progress. No progress in getting the jobs. And had resigned himself to the fact that he was running out of options. He lost hopes. He had spent his day with a friend, grabbed lunch, had lunch, and watched a movie in a theater. As Baleshwar boarded the train home, he pondered, thought over his future, but all he could now think of was saving a stranger's life. ಇಷ್ಟು ಇದನ್ನು 3-4 ಸಾರಿ ಓದಿ. ಇದರಲ್ಲೊಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಈಡಿಯಮ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಟ್ರಾಡಿಂಗ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಎನ್ ಈಡಿಯಮ್, ನಾಟ್ ವರ್ಬ್, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಎನ್ ಈಡಿಯಮ್. ಫೇಲ್ಡ್ ಟು ಮೇಕ್ ಎನಿ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರೆಸ್. ಫೇಲ್ಡ್ ಟು ಮೇಕ್ ಎನಿ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರೆಸ್. ಬ್ರೈಟ್ and early means very very early. 8 means 7:45. Now I'll explain the 4 paragraphs in simple English. Try to make notes, listen repeatedly, and try to be familiar with the text. But reading is very very important. Okay. Baleshwar Mishra was running towards the place where the girl had fallen. He was running towards the place where the girl had fallen. He hoped, he thought he was not too late. He had hopes that he was not too late. He could save her. He was not too late. He found the lady sprawling or sprawled by the tracks, beside the tracks. He went near her ears and asked if she was okay. He asked if she was okay, but there was no response from the lady because she was in unconscious state. State means condition. She was in unconscious state. The spot, that point, that place was in Thane district. That place was in Thane district in Mumbai. He saw the blood. He saw the blood was flowing in a gash. Gash andre gottalla, cut. Flowing out of a gash. The blood was flowing out of a gash in the lady's ಹೆಡ್ ಕಟ್ಟಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ. He prayed to God. He prayed in silence to God to save the girl. Immediately, with much difficulty, he lifted. With much difficulty, he lifted the lady. She was not quite young. She was 5.2 feet tall and 50 kg weight. He did not worry about it. He carried her. He carried her across the tracks. Then he crossed the shrubbery. He crossed the shrubbery, some small plants. It was not a road, plants. He saw motorists were moving, vehicles were moving on the road. He requested, he begged, he implored the motorists to stop their vehicles and help him take her to the hospital. He said that his sister was injured, but the motorists did not stop their vehicles. Simply they went. They did not care. Now, there is another technique. We come to know two people. One is Roman Talreja. Roman Talreja was a BCom graduate. She was working in a call center. On the 10th December 2010, she came to the office bright and early. Bright and early means very, very early. And she had been working in that company for the past 2 years. And she was very happy to work there. She was talking with the customers. She was making good number of new friends. She enjoyed working there. On that day, means December the 10th, 2010, a Friday. It was a Friday. The work was over. It was evening. She went to the canteen with her friends. They had coffee and snacks. They made jokes. They shared certain jokes. And they spent some time. She was about to return home and she had good number of plans for the weekend. On that day, she had plans for the weekend. Next day was Saturday and she would have 2 days holiday. And she wanted to have good food with her parents and brother. She wanted to have a long chat with her fiancé, would-be husband Vijay. It was her plans. With these good plans, nice plans, she was returning home with a dream. This was her part. What about this boy? Baleshwar Mishra had come from Mirzapur in Uttar Pradesh. He was not a Mumbai wala. He was not educated. He was a high school dropout, discontinued his education. He had come to Mumbai searching for jobs. He stayed in the house of his older brothers. He was searching for jobs in Mumbai, but all his efforts went in vain. It was of no use. On that day, he spent some time with his friends. He had lunch. Then he went to a movie and watched it. After that, he boarded the train to reach his destination. While he was going, this incident happened. Ishtana 3-4 sari kediskolli, you get an idea. Okay? See, these are the questions we can ask, and we can ask some more questions also. What was the height of Roma Talreja? 5 feet 2 inches. What was the weight of Roma Talreja? 50 kgs. How long had Roma been working there? Roma had been working there for 2 years. Where was Roma working? She was working in a call center. ಅದು ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಸೇರಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. On which day did the incident take place? The incident took place on the 10th December 2010. Where did the incident take place? The incident took place in Thane district. What were her plans for the weekend? What ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ. She had plans to have good supper with her parents and brother. She wanted to have long chat with her fiance Vijay. Who was her fiance Vijay? ಇಲ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಬರ್ಕೊಡಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬಾಲೇಶ್ವರ್. Where was Baleshwar from? He was from Mirzapur, UP. What was his qualification? High school dropout. He was a high school dropout. Where did he come to Mumbai? He had come to Mumbai searching for jobs. Where had he stayed in Mumbai? He had stayed with his older brothers in Mumbai. What was he pondering while he was returning home? While he was returning home, he was pondering of the future. How did he spend the afternoon or that day? He had food with his friends. He watched a movie on that day. ಇಷ್ಟು ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸು ಆನ್ಸರ್ಸು ಬೈ ಹ್ಯಾಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಲ್ಲ, ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು, ಕಣ್ಣು ಮುಂದೆ ಚಿತ್ರ ಬಂದು ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಆ ಥರ ಸುಂದರವಾದಂಥ ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್